boys and girls, friends. As the Ambassador of India, it gives me great pleasure to be with you all this afternoon. And as I sat there listening to these fascinating comments and assessments made by each of the youngsters from various groups, I was transported back in time when I came to this country for the first time almost 39 years ago. Starry-eyed youngster at the age of 20 as a university student on an exchange program. And just as you mentioned Ichigo Ichie, which really means treasure the moment, I have never forgotten that visit of mine from India to Japan. For I sat in classrooms, I had homestays, I traveled as you did to various factories, and I had similar observations then as now. For Japan in the 1970s and 80s was also an extraordinary place as it is today. Japan is the world's second largest developed economy even today, and the third largest economy per se. It is also the second largest economy in Asia, and it continues to be right at the top in terms of innovation, its technological prowess, concepts such as Kaizen, Monozukuri. These are words which you might have come across in the last few days. Japan epitomizes for all of us the goodness that exists in humanity and what we can achieve if we set our minds to it through sheer hard work, discipline, punctuality, concern for fellow citizens, and many other good qualities of the head and heart that are to be found in great abundance in this friendly country known as Japan. As for me, as Ambassador of India, it's an extraordinary feeling to represent 1.25 billion people, and I should say that a full half of India is below the age of 25. So as I stand here before you, I too represent, in a sense, and certainly the 11 students that have come from India most certainly do represent the 600 million people in India that are below the age of 25. But I could also say that for the rest of South Asia, for all of South Asia, this entire family, Committee of Nations from South Asia, represents overwhelmingly the future of mankind. The youth everywhere is very important. You are very important, for you represent the future of each of the countries that you represent, and that is the future of this rapidly evolving world of ours. As you know, travel is a great experience for any young mind. It opens up your minds to other cultures. It makes you more tolerant. It makes you more accepting. And it fills you with a sense of respect for humanity. Every great culture has said this about learning and the acquisition of knowledge. And there is no better place in the world than to acquire it from a country like Japan. In India, we have an ancient Sanskrit saying, I'm fond of repeating this whenever I speak, and that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The entire world is one family. Even in Arabic, there is emphasis, for instance, in the ancient sayings in the Hadith about the importance of knowledge. In Arabic, there is a saying which said in the past, search for knowledge even if you have to go to a very distant place. In those days, all of East Asia was very distant from the Arab world. Japan too is very distant. But it is a place that you must visit in order to acquire knowledge. Let me say that it's a country, as you would have seen for yourselves, that has maintained a very fine balance between tradition and modernity. And this is something that is to be greatly valued in a fast-changing world. We must always, each one of us, stay rooted in our cultures. We must respect our own traditions, but we must always be open to learning from other cultures. And I do believe that the Genesis program gives each one of you a wonderful opportunity to come together as one family. I'm particularly excited about the feeling that so many young people from all over South Asia find themselves today in one room, building bridges of friendship and understanding, building perhaps lifelong relationships with one another that could prove to be greatly beneficial for all of us in the future. Remember that the greatest challenge before South Asia is to develop our countries, to develop our economies, to take the maximum number of people above poverty, to educate them in the right manner, to give them the right kind of legacies to pass on to future generations. And in doing that, South Asia will always find Japan to be a great friend. Japan plays a very integral role in the development of infrastructure, in the development of factories, roads, highways, ports, and other networks that provide connectivity to each one of us in each of our countries. And I think this is something that we greatly value as we look to connect ourselves with East Asia and more particularly to Japan. I have also noticed that of the 11 young people that have come from India, there are several from India's northeast this time, from what we regard in India as the Seven Sisters. And this is a very, very important part of India. I am delighted to state that they represent truly India's what we call Act East policy. As we look towards East Asia, that is the part of India, my country, that truly connects India with East Asia. And I'm sure that each one of you will benefit from interaction with the young boys and girls that have come from the northeast of India, perhaps for the first time. It's a great moment for me to also announce that I'm accompanied today by the director of the Vivekanand Cultural Center of the Embassy of India, and the first secretary in charge of information, education and culture, Mrs. Mwanpui, who herself is a Mizo, a very proud Mizo from northeast India. And this warm welcome I extend today to each of you, boys and girls from each of the countries that come from South Asia. Remember to keep one another as friends forever. Ichigo Ichie, treasure the moment. Thank you.